Self-ordained Bishop Hamilton Koshango Kwakenala is a faith preacher from KwaZulu-Natal with a radical message. In addition to claims he can cure cancer and a host of other illnesses, the bishop maintains he can cure HIV and AIDS using his controversial faith water.
Let me tell South Africa, there are people who have died because of being HIV positive, not because they were sick. They died because they were hopeless. They couldn't bear to be diagnosed from the disease. Then they will live with it for the rest of their lives. You know why they attack me? I give people hope. You can be healed. I don't care whether you've been tested 10 times. HIV positive. There is God in heaven. There is God in heaven with the power to heal every sickness, to heal every disease.
To discuss the science and health implications of the bishop's claims, we're joined by Dr. Catherine Orrell. She heads up the treatment division of the Desmond Tutu HIV Centre. Dr. Orrell, thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure. Great
So,
to be here.
thank you. Let's just go straight into it. This bishop is making some really crazy claims, but of course he's not the only person to make claims like this. Why is this type of thing dangerous?
I've been working in HIV and AIDS now for 15 years, and there have been many people that have made claims they can cure HIV, they can clear the virus. And I think they are preying on people who are desperate. People who live with HIV think they're going to die, they don't see a way forward. Antiretroviral treatment is lifelong. It's not necessarily easy to take all the time, and it would be an easy way out. It's if you can drink this bottle of water and you'll be cured, that would be fantastic. But unfortunately, that's never been proven to be the case.
Now, while the bishop has maintained that he's not telling people to take themselves off ARVs, he's also stated that if you have faith enough, you will be healed and your doctor won't be able to trace any of the virus in your body, in which case ARVs are not necessary. Why is it dangerous to tell people to take themselves off their medication? Or is it?
It is dangerous to tell people to take them off medication. It completely contradicts the message that we give with antiretroviral services, which is this lifelong therapy. You have to take it every day to make it work, to keep levels of drug in the blood that suppress the virus. There was a very large study, the SMART study, run in about 2004 to 2006, which randomized people to coming off treatment for a short period of time or staying on treatment. And they found that the people that came off treatment for short periods of time in a controlled scientific environment died more frequently than people who stayed on. So there is great evidence that we should be keeping people on treatment, and interrupting treatment increases people's risk of AIDS and dying.
What happens to these people who have taken themselves off the treatment, but then perhaps in a year or two realize that they're declining and go back on? Are they able to make up that time? It's a complicated thing. Stopping antiretroviral treatments can result in your virus becoming resistant. So you can, by every time you stop treatment, you increase your chances of becoming resistant. So some people may be fortunate, and having a break in treatment will not allow their virus to learn about the medication. And when they restart the medication, it will still work for them. Other people will be less fortunate, because some people, even just one stop of treatment can actually result in their virus learning about the medications we have available. And then it will not work the second time. And when your antiretroviral therapy does not work, your CD4 counts, the body soldiers, continues to drop. Your viral load count continues to rise, and eventually you develop AIDS, which can be fatal. The bishop has claimed that people who have stopped taking their medication because they've been cured by him have felt no ill effect. In fact, they felt much better for extended periods. Can this be explained?
Well, it depends on how ill you were when you started your antiretrovirals, and these days people start when they are well. We're starting earlier and earlier to try and stop people from becoming sick. So a lot of people have never really been ill, and those people, when they stop their treatment, may have, it takes time for the virus to come back up, and then the immune system to weaken, and then to become ill. So they may not feel ill for the first 4, 5, 6 months, maybe even longer if their CD4 count was higher before treatment, but their disease will be progressing during that time.
So often it's a result of being off the medication and not because you've been cured miraculously.
Yes, yeah. I mean, if somebody was proven to actually be HIV negative, then I would be questioning their diagnosis in the first place. When HIV infects your body, it literally takes its little piece of genetics, its piece of RNA, uses our DNA building blocks to make a piece of DNA, and then it actually cuts our DNA, splices itself in. So it basically is part of our DNA. There is no way of removing that little piece of viral DNA from those millions of cells in the body. I mean, once you're infected, you're infected.
Is it possible for you to be HIV positive in the morning and diagnosed as negative in a couple of days or that evening?
I would say not.
Not at all?
Absolutely not. Yeah, definitely. There's no ways that somehow during the day all those little pieces of viral DNA magically got themselves out of all your cells. As soon as you stop the treatment, it's like adding oxygen to a fire and the HIV regrows.
The Department of Health in KwaZulu-Natal have called for legal action against the bishop. They've said what he's doing is wildly irresponsible and that he should be criminally charged. Do you agree?
My activist side says yes, actually, I do agree. I think we don't take these things seriously enough in South Africa. We, in one of the communities I work in Cape Town, we actually reported somebody once to the Medicines Control Council, but very little actually happens about them. And I think a strong message is actually needed. Perhaps antiretrovirals are God's cure for HIV. We lived for 2 decades of people dying from AIDS. Now they don't have to because we have antiretrovirals. Maybe that's the answer rather than some miraculous or faith cure.
Could you perhaps give us some reputable sources of information? So for instance, if somebody is desperate and needs information, are there alternatives rather than visiting a faith healer?
So I'm very Western Cape focused, so for the whole of the country I'm not necessarily going to know, but in the Western Cape there is ATIC, the AIDS Training and Information and Counselling Centre that's based in Mowbray, that have a phone number that's in the phone book that you can call. And the Treatment Action Campaign also has a lot of interesting information, leaflets and things that people can actually access on antiretroviral therapy and data.
Would you agree then that the bottom line is that you cannot be cured from one day to the next, or you cannot be cured at all, but treatment of antiretrovirals can extend your life?
I agree that there is no known cure for HIV. There is no way of getting the HIV out of the body once you are infected. So you can live a full and happy life with antiretroviral therapy. You don't have to die of HIV, and you certainly don't have to stop your antiretrovirals.
Thank you so much for speaking with us today. I think you've shed a lot of light on a very sensitive topic. Thank you.
Thank you.